Welcome to the Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel. I am Charles Odell, and this is your primary resource for everything manufactured housing. Whether you are tackling a full remodel like the one you see here, or just looking for honest advice on repairs and financing, we provide the data and technical deep dives you need to succeed. Our mission is simple: to help you save money and improve your home through first principles logic and transparent cost breakdowns. For the full technical guides and even more resources, visit us at mobilehomefriend.com.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today, we are looking at the hard-won lessons from a first mobile home flip, and this is all based on our latest research over at mobilehomefriend.com. Now, this is a story about what happens when, good intentions run smack into harsh reality. Let's dive right in. So what we're looking at here is a case study of a flip that, let me tell you, it started with some really high hopes, but it ended up with something, way more valuable than profit, and that was experience. It's just a perfect example of how a deal that looks amazing on paper can completely fail the one test that matters most for an investor. All right, so the story kicks off with an experienced house flipper who stumbles upon what looks like an absolute steal, a park-owned mobile home for just $1,000. Now, it's in a pretty big but kind of neglected 2-star park. And get this, the park even threw in 3 months of free lot rent to get the reno done. I mean, on the surface, that sounds like a total win-win, right? Okay, so when you look at the outside, yeah, it was rough, but there were no real deal breakers. A couple of broken windows, some dented aluminum siding, messed up skirting. That's all pretty standard stuff for a fixer-upper. For a seasoned renovator, none of this looked like it would be unmanageable. But man, the inside, that was a whole different story. The flipper literally walked in and was hit by what they called a wall of stink. The place was just jam-packed with junk. The floors were soft and sloping, never a good sign. The ceiling in one of the bedrooms had caved in from a leak. Water damage was pretty much everywhere. It was, to put it lightly, a total disaster. And this quote, this right here is everything. It perfectly captures the critical mistake that was made right at the very beginning. The decision was emotional, not financial. The goal shifted from a smart investment flip to, I want to make this a home I would live in, and that changed the entire game, especially for a property in a 2-star park. So let's look at how that one single decision started a massive chain reaction. That choice, that emotional choice to make it a place they'd personally live in, that was the tipping point. It kicked off this huge snowball effect that just sent the budget and the timeline completely off the rails. Okay, so the initial plan was for a pretty modest remodel, right? Something in the $10,000 to $12,000 range. And for a home this size, about 980 square feet, that seems totally reasonable. But the reality? Whoa. It turned into a nearly $30,000 full-on stick-built style overhaul. So the big question is, how on earth did one decision cause the budget to almost triple? Well, it all started with one thing: the decision to drywall the entire interior to make it feel more like a traditional house. And that single choice created what we call the upgrade cascade. It's this trap, right? Because all of a sudden you have these beautiful new walls, and they make the old, cheap windows, the hollow core doors, and that dented siding look absolutely terrible. And that forces you into a chain reaction of one expensive, unplanned upgrade after another. And every single one of those upgrades brought its own set of new expensive problems. Those bargain Pella windows, they didn't fit the standard openings, which meant they had to reframe every single one of the 11 window openings. The new interior doors they bought, they were for 4-inch walls, stick-built walls, not the 3-inch walls in the mobile home. And that dented siding? Turned out it was irreparable, so the whole thing had to be replaced. As we often note on the Mobile Home Friend website, understanding these standard mobile home dimensions before you even think about buying is it's absolutely crucial. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down exactly where all this money went. This is the anatomy of a budget blowout, and it really itemizes the cost of just over-improving a property for its market. So you can see the big ticket items just piling up. That one decision to drywall, $4,500. The new siding, another $3,500. Then you've got windows, cabinets, flooring. That all adds up to another $7,000 right there. I mean, these are the kinds of costs you expect on a stick-built house flip, not what was supposed to happen with this project. So when you add it all up,
The original $1,000 purchase price, plus all those renovation costs, the final all-in investment came to a staggering $28,750.
Now, here's the kicker. The home, which was now beautiful and fully renovated, it sold fast for $31,000. And on the surface, you're thinking, hey, that's a success. But when you look at the final numbers, well, they tell a very different story. And they really force us to think about what profit actually means for an investor. After spending almost 29 grand, the total profit, on paper at least, was just $2,250. I mean, for 2 months of hard work and that huge amount of cash tied up, that is just not the kind of return anyone is looking for in a flip. So, back to the big question. Was it a success? I mean, the deal made money, didn't it? But here's the thing. For a real investor, profit isn't just about that final number on a spreadsheet. The single most important thing is how fast you get your investment capital back so you can roll it into the next project. And this, right here, is the real lesson. See, the sale was seller financed. That means the flipper basically acted as the bank, collecting monthly payments from the buyer. And because of that, it was going to take a full 8 years just to get their initial investment back. A successful mobile home flipping model, you need to get your capital back in 18 months max so you can reinvest. 8 years? That completely shatters the model. And hey, if you want the full technical breakdown on the financing, you can check out the post on mobilehomefriend.com. Okay, so what are the big takeaways from this? Let's call it an expensive education. I mean, what went wrong is pretty obvious, but what went right is actually the most important part. They didn't quit, they took action, they finished the project, and they learned from it. But the absolute core lesson here really comes down to one thing: mindset. You see, this whole project was tackled with a homeowner's mindset. It was all about personal taste, perfection, high-end finishes. An investor's mindset, that's laser-focused on the budget, the actual market value of that home in that specific park, and how fast you can get your money back. This flip was a masterclass in the homeowner mindset, and a huge cautionary tale about what happens when you ignore the investor mindset. So how do you make sure this doesn't happen to you? Well, having a super strict due diligence process is absolutely non-negotiable. This checklist, which is from the Mobile Home Friend website, is a fantastic place to start. I mean, verifying little things like wall stud dimensions and getting park approvals in writing before you even pick up a hammer. That can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. Look, the whole point of this story isn't to scare you off from flipping mobile homes. Not at all. It's to arm you with real-world knowledge. The profits are definitely out there, but you can only get to them if you approach it with the right mindset. It's all about understanding the unique challenges of manufactured homes and, most importantly, keeping that investor's discipline from the very beginning to the very end. Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head on over to mobilehomefriend.com. And hey, don't forget to check out the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.